Just a second. We're getting ready to get y'all on the air.
Okay.
Yeah, Twitter. Okay.
All right. We're not going to take up too much of your time. I know you have a busy campaign trail that you're working on. Yep. Yeah, I bet. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and begin.
All right. This is Tyrone Gethers, your host of The Source of Inkwell, live on KUAW. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Kansas City's fastest growing community radio station. We're live here in the urban core, located in the W.B. Du Bois Learning Center. You can hit us up on a number of ways. You can go to KUAW.org, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook Live, and I did say YouTube, yeah. And type in, tune in radio and type in KUAW, we'll pop right up. On some of those modes, you can actually see us and actually communicate live as well, too. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit us up at 816-599-6893. Today, my guest is live on the phone. We have Mr. Lucas Kunce, who is running for U.S. Senate in Missouri. How you doing, sir? I'm doing well. I appreciate you reaching out to KUAW for an interview. So we're going to go ahead and just talk about a few things, so people can get to know who you are as well as your platform. So can you give us a little background of who you are and, how you started on the political trail? Okay. Mm. Mm. Right.
Like, good God, I'd love to be lasagna tonight. But sure enough, it's usually lasagna. But yeah, no, just this beautiful place. So that's where I grew up. It was great. We were all broke, but it was a great place to live. And I spent my life trying to pay that community back. So I joined the Marine Corps because some of my heroes as a kid were Marines. The guy who gave us our first dishwasher was a Marine. I tell you what, when a guy rolls up to your house and gives you a dishwasher, it saves you 40 minutes of hard scrubbing every night. You look up to that dude.
That's right.
So, yeah, man. So I became a Marine, like Ken. I did 13 years. I deployed to Iraq. I deployed to Afghanistan twice. I led arms control negotiations out of the Pentagon. And I tell you, I watched our country spend $6.4 trillion over there. I watched it happen. I was a part of it. And, I come back home to that community I signed up to serve in Jeff City. And it seems like there's never any money to invest in neighborhoods like that. The first house I ever lived in is an empty lot now. The only new houses are Habitat houses. The corner store is all boarded up, because it's been robbed too many times. You can't get insurance. Grocery store is gone. Like, you want to get through the month now. Tell you what, at Walmart, you're not letting you float a check. You're getting a payday loan, right?
Exactly.
20% interest. It's wrong. And I'm just, for me running this campaign, I'm tired of seeing communities like the one I grew up in just get stripped apart. Politicians, they take money from the wrong people, and they make decisions like allowing payday loan centers in. They make decisions like selling our farmland overseas. They make decisions like sending money to Iraq and Afghanistan instead of our neighborhood, and then everybody's worse off. So, I'm running to change that. I'm running to invest in our communities like the one I grew up in. And the way I'm running, I'm not taking corporate PAC money, no federal lobbyist money, none of that. I don't want any of it because I think it's polluting our system and leaving us all worse off. So that's my story.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for your service. I mean, you have a very decorative military background. I really appreciate you for that. And also, you had mentioned about your community growing up as well too, and giving back. I mean, it's very rare that you hear politicians say, "Look, I want to come back and build up where I came from." So I'm sure that your constituents, mainly the ones who are living in your former neighborhood, are very excited about hearing that piece. I want to move on a little bit deeper into your platform. I kind of read some pieces that you were hitting on, and I kind of saw a few things. So I want you to tell our listeners, your constituents, what your high points are on your political platform.
Yeah, so the main thing for me is investing again, right? Like I want to invest in our communities, especially ones like the one I grew up in that's been left behind. And so I'm just really tired of seeing our politicians again take money from the wrong people and use that money to just strip our communities from parts. Like literally, they ship all our jobs overseas. They never invest in infrastructure here. They invest in infrastructure elsewhere. They never make it so people in neighborhoods like the one I grew up in or ones that don't have much money, like they never make it so we have access to capital, so we can build a legacy for our children, right? It's like there's this generational wealth that they preserve for the people that already have it, and they don't give other people access to capital. And so you see that in any neighborhood, anywhere in the state that's been left behind, right? There's communities everywhere. There's communities here in Kansas City. I was going to clean up in the vineyard the other day. I was like, damn, this looks exactly like the neighborhood I grew up in. Like, this is it right here. Like, this is the places that we need to invest in. And I'm just tired of it, right? Like, there's things like the Community Reinvestment Act, which is supposed to make major banks. We take all of our money, right, and loan it out when we put money in those banks. They take our money and they invest it somewhere else. And they strengthen things like the Community Reinvestment Act, so that it forces them to reinvest that money in the communities it comes out of. Things like that. I don't think the politicians should own stock, because I'm tired of politicians making decisions based on their stock portfolios rather than the people they're supposed to represent. I don't think their spouses should own stocks either, right? They're all doing insider trading and stuff and hooking each other up. So, I think we should abolish corporate tax. But really, for me, it's whatever gets money into our communities and invest. Like, I see that as my main job as U.S. Senator, to bring money back here.
Excellent. And it seems like you're more progressive now in regards to your approach on politics. What led you to be more progressive as far as your reach towards your political platform?
Well, I would say that I was always like this on the financial side, right?
Right.
And so, but I did grow up in a pro-life household, you would call it, right?
Right.
And which is pretty much everybody in a lot of households in Missouri. And you join the Marine Corps, go overseas, see what it's like to live in one of these big brother governments where, if you got wealth and power, you got access to everything, and if you don't, you're just getting screwed. Well, that's what abortion restrictions are, right? Like these country club Republicans who are happy to put into place the first trigger law in the entire country here in Missouri and make it so you can't even get an abortion in a case of rape or incest. Like, they don't worry about that law because that law doesn't affect them. Right? They got money, they're family members, and then they're all going to go out of state. They're just going to get abortions, just like they always have, right?
Right.
People it's going to hurt is folks in my neighborhood or places where you don't have any money and you can't get out and do that. And that's not American to me. We should all have the same opportunity. And so, for me, a woman should have control over her body and her choice on when or if to have kids. And, I know a couple people who went through very, very hard pregnancies, and they should never have to go through that again if they don't want to.
Yeah, that's definitely a hot topic, and I thank you for actually even expanding upon that as far as for a political stance. Because typically we hear a lot of people say what they feel, but really it's what the woman feels, what the person involved who's being subjected to this is feeling. Now, yeah, exactly. Now, you mentioned a lot in regards to your progressive stance, and then we also talked about, you talked about how the Republicans look at things too. Well, the leading Republican candidate on the on your opposing side is candidate Bush. Now, what is different? Like, if someone is coming in this thing new, because we have a lot of people who are just now voting and everything. What can someone expect differently from how you would run the position of Senate versus Bush?
Absolutely. So Trudy Bush Valentine is my Democratic primary opponent. So when you go to vote on August 2nd, you'll be choosing between me and her. And now, she's the billionaire. She's the heiress to a billionaire fortune, the Bush beer fortune. She doesn't know what a life of service is like. She doesn't know how most people grow up. She doesn't know what Citizens United is, which is fine. Like, most people might not realize that that's a corrupt court decision that makes it so that politicians can be bought off. But if you're running for Congress, you should know what that is. She's been very soft on LGBTQ rights, and I think, like, the biggest differentiator, though, is just that she doesn't know how most people live. She has a vast stock portfolio that's all defense stocks, pharmaceutical cartels, companies, insurance companies. Like, that's who pays her every single month. That's where her money comes from. She lives in a world where she doesn't understand how everyday Missourians live. I mentioned I grew up paycheck to paycheck and we went bankrupt, but, like, I still know what it's like. When my mom got cancer 10 years ago, she works an hourly job, right?
Right.
I mean, you know what happens when you got cancer and you work an hourly job in this country? Like, you can't work enough to keep your life intact anymore.
Not at all.
And that's what happened to her, so she had to move in with me. Like, when you don't have generational wealth, that's where you're at. You got to take care of each other. And just like that community took care of me, I take care of my family. That's the way I'm going to take care of everyday people. She doesn't understand what that's like, and we'll never even know how to do that.
Wow. Yeah, because I mean, from what you're saying, you're coming off as you're the more relatable choice. And I mean, you said a lot of things that I'm sure a lot of individuals who listen to our station can possibly relate to. So it's like that. It's all about vantage point. And, you're coming up with a candidate who has a strong vantage point with the constituents here in this area.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, you got to have that. We don't have that in Congress right now, hardly at all.
Right.
We certainly don't have it in the Senate. I mean, none of them get it.
Mm-hmm.
They all, they're all about, like, they'll get asked about insider trading, and they'll say, well, I don't even see why that's a problem. It's like, oh, not a problem? Well, you all just, when Raytheon UTC asked you not to raise the corporate tax rate to pay for our infrastructure, you told them okay. I'm like, that's a transfer of wealth from us, our infrastructure, to Raytheon UTC shareholders, who's y'all.
Right.
You know better.
Exactly.
Like, take care of us.
Well, yeah, we thank you for taking the time to come in, because I know, you are very busy, and we want to respect your time. But before you go, KUAW likes to go around and actually participate in watch parties, to do an on-site interview. Is it possible that we can come in and check you out and reach out to your aide and find the details and kind of report live on next Tuesday?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds fine to me. Also, we've got a rally in downtown Independence at the Farmers Market, which is not too far from you. We have that on August 1st. It's a Get Out the Vote rally. We'll have a bunch of people there. And,
okay.
You would be welcome there, too. I'll make sure you get the details. And for anyone who's listening, I'm Lucas Kunce. You can find more at lucaskunce.com. It's Kunce. And anyone who's listening is invited to that. I'd love to have people come out to it. We're going to have a good crew. And the more the merrier. It's going to be a fun party. And I'd like to meet anybody who wants to come meet me.
Excellent. We'll definitely spread the word. And also, August 2nd, people, get out and vote. If you need, yes, please. If you need help, please call the Jackson County Election Board. Call KUAW. We will help you out as well, too. Your power is at the polls. Mr. Kunce, thank you. Thank you for
thank you, sir.
Oh, yes. And definitely good luck at the polls, sir.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to next time.
All right. Now, we'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Now, that was Mr. Kunce, Mr. Lucas Kunce, Lucas Tyrone Kunce, who is here locally in Kansas City, Missouri, where he lives in the Independence area. Like you heard on the interview, he grew up in the Jefferson City area on the same block as Lincoln University. He gave us a good insight on his platform, very progressive Democrat. So please, do your research on him, also on his his opponent, Ms. Trudy Bush, and, kind of get the background of both of the opponents to see who, you would like to vote for. It's your choice. It's your voice. KUAW will be live. Every election season, we are out there hitting the pavement. I will be at Mr. Kunce's rally on August 1st, and I'm trying to get to his watch party as well, too. We'll also try to reach out to Ms. Trudy Bush as well, too, to kind of get her insight, too. KUAW is a nonpartisan station. We don't ride either political party or whatnot. We respect all candidates, and we give every candidate a platform to use our microphone to speak about how they can help you, the people. So really, to be quite honest, the choice is with you. to go in and make your voice heard at the polls. Mr. Kunce gave us a nice chunk of his time. We appreciate him for that. And with saying that, we'll go ahead and sign out because that was our show. And I will be in touch with you in regards to getting a hold of Ms. Trudy Bush and also some more candidates as well, too. So please check out KUAW's Live. I will be going live throughout the weekend next week as well, too. So this is Tyrone Gethers Jr., your host of the Source of the Inkwell, signing off. And the Inkwell is like education. Let it overflow like ink. Let it stain permanent as your right to vote should be. God bless, and I'll see you soon.